that Mike screwed that up. You're right.
It is. What's also egregious. What's also egregious is allowing Taysom Hill, who had 230 yards in total prior to yesterday's game, look like a combination of Bo Jackson and Rob Gronkowski at the same time.
Throw in Michael Vick.
Mike Vick. I mean, you name it. 247, Steve. But Taysom Hill had one of the best fantasy games of any player long. He had 18 passing yards, 50 receiving yards, 138 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. He caught 8 passes. I mean,
he had return yardage too.
He had a 44-yard return. I mean, inexcusable. I'm not quite sure is the strong enough adjective.
Are we done with Jim Schwartz, by the way? Question.
Last year he was the defensive coach of the assistant coach of the year. Now he's
no. I'm asking the question. I know what my answer is. My answer is I'm done with him. I've seen enough.
Well, I never wrote about it. I think we did mention this on the show. I talked about this before. Houston, last year in the playoff game, Houston went back and watched the Philly-New England Super Bowl tape. And when Philly won the game, but the Patriots piled up, what was it, 500, 600, something insane.
Tom Brady.
On Schwartz's defense. And Houston followed the Patriots' game plan to a T. It's misdirections and it's boots. And that's exactly what the Saints did to him yesterday. The way to beat Schwartz's defense is misdirections and boots, and that's what the Saints did.
That's why Hill is so effective in that. When he's lined up as quarterback, you've got a numbers problem. You've got a numbers problem right off the bat.
How many McNuggets? We talked about this on the post game. This is what pisses me off the most. He wasn't doing nothing the rest of the year. Taysom Hill did nothing.
I think did he have more yardage yesterday than he had all year?
Close. He had 230 before. Well, if you include the kick return yards, but I'm not sure what his kick return yards.
I don't know if it's okay.
So if you take that out,
I mean, he essentially
doubled
met his production in one game.
Correct.
It reminded me. Do you guys remember? Was it the Falcons a couple of years ago
that said play 11 times?
Browns, we're running the ball every time.
Right.
12 yards. 15 yards, 12 yards.
Without their starting running back.
By the way, how tough was it to watch Joe Woods beat us yesterday?
That was wild. You know what? He emailed me after the game and said, take that. like this is wild, man. We get embarrassed, man. It's embarrassing that stuff that we can't stop. Jet motions and reverses. We let some dude for the Raiders just run around. I don't even know his name.
I'll tell you something else that's embarrassing. The fact that the Browns feel the need to celebrate every pass break.
I've hated that for years.
When they're losing. Yep. First of all, I can't remember who it was.
Jim Schwartz encouraged that, by the way.
There was one celebration where the only reason it was an incomplete pass
because the guy dropped it.
Carr underthrew the tight end that beat him into the end zone. And he underthrew it, and the guy broke. It's embarrassing. You can't coach awareness.
It's just what did you think they were going to run?
Did you hear, who was on the, was it Vilma? Who was that on the broadcast?
Yes,
Vilma.
There was on one of the touchdowns where he said half of them were playing cover one and half of them were playing cover two.
Again.
Yeah.
So there it is again. Where they can't even get lined up.
I'm trying to say, okay, what's the point on the horizon that they're going to? I'm just call me flip-flop, okay? Kevin Stefanski's got to go.
Everybody's
I'm done. He's got to go.
Yeah.
All right? Jim Schwartz, bye. Gone. Out. Play caller, gone. Done. Dorsey, not impressed. Where do you go from here? This is what I've decided from watching football over the last 2 years. I want Dan Campbell, not Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski's Tom Landry. Nice. Pleasant. Never loses his temper. Tony Dungy.
Yeah.
I was in Tampa for 4 years watching Tony Dungy. And then they did what the Cavs did last year. They said, let's take the coach, take him out, and John Gruden, we're going to put you in. Super Bowl. Different voice, different message, same players, different message. He was tough. John was tough. Very first news conference, he intentionally called Mike Allstott Mark Allstott. Why? Didn't think he was getting enough out of him. He thought this guy was a superstar. He was playing like garbage. So he intentionally mispronounced his name, called him the wrong name. Everyone's like, Allstott's traded. No, Allstott had a great year. So I say that to say this. Give me Dan Campbell. This is football. It's a gladiator sport. Guys are trying to kill each other. Guys are losing years off the back end of their life because the sport is so violent. Nice, sweet, doesn't get it.
Well, for the record, both those guys won Super Bowls. Landry and Dungy both won Super Bowls.
Let me finish my point.
I'll take a Super Bowl winning coach.
Once upon a time, that worked. Now, in the same time that Landry was winning Super Bowls, so was Chuck Noll. Chuck Noll was knocking heads.
Yeah.
That dude was a ball beater. Tom Landry was the anomaly. And it was a much different sport. It was checkers, and this is chess. But I'm not going to take that away from him. He won. But he won with a top hat and a suit.
I
He
think
never
the
lost
reason-
his temper.
Jay,
Kevin Stefanski's demeanor is not suited for a gladiator sport. I want Dan Campbell.
I don't know that I agree with that as a whole for the league, but I do agree with you on the Browns specifically. And the reason is they need a coach that's going to essentially, and I believe you can do this, put Jimmy Haslam in his place. They need a coach that's going to say, hey, listen, the only way I'm taking this job is if you stay out of it.
You do
And
that if you win.
He won't hire that guy.
No, he won't.
Well, then they'll keep hiring
That's what I said.
guys that are desperate to have a job.
And that's what my
If
buddies
you're-
that were telling me this
Right.
years ago said, anybody that takes that job, he's a patsy from day one. That's
What?
why Jimmy's hiring him.
For everybody that wants Mike Vrabel, why would Mike Vrabel take the job?
I can't imagine Mike Vrabel would want anything to do with being the head coach.
The only way I'd take it if I were him is, Jimmy, you're out of this.
Yep.
Paul
He's
DeFranco,
writing
you're
checks
gone.
and stay in your office.
Yes.
They interviewed that guy. I'm not saying they should have hired him.
Yeah.
They interviewed that guy, Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels said, if I come, everybody goes.
Well, he's a terrible head coach.
But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
the reason he didn't get that job is because
Yeah.
he walked in and said, if I'm doing this, everybody else has to go, and I get to say what happens. And Jimmy said, thank you for coming. Have a nice day. He's not going to hire a guy like that.
Sometimes it take you hitting rock bottom, and sometimes it take you wanting a new stadium and no one liking you to say, you know what, I might want to go ahead and figure this out.
Was son-in-law, did I see someone had a hashtag, was it you?
Yeah.
Said something in our text group. with
Hashtag son-in-law, yeah.
That made me laugh. Out loud.
I believe, I'm not 100%, I believe Vrabel wants like full control wherever he goes next.
He should
And
have it.
deserves it.
Yeah.
If he's in,
He's not going, I don't think he's going to get that here.
No, he won't.
here's what I'll say.
I don't think he will.
Hey, I once again, I saw Dan Gilbert be the same tyrant, and you know what happened?
He had a stroke. No, I don't mean to make light of it.
Before he won the championship.
I'm saying, but what changed when he
When
he signed the peace treaty with LeBron?
I don't want this to get clipped to make it sound like I'm making fun of Dan.
When he signed the peace treaty
No,
with LeBron.
no.
Well, we won't clip this, Jason. You're good.
You're having two different conversations here because he was still a tyrant when LeBron came back.
But LeBron was like, "Oh no, I want assurances." Like you said, you're gonna write every check that I tell you to write. And he said, "Sure."
Yeah, LeBron and Dan knew that they needed each other, and LeBron needed Dan to spend, and Dan needed LeBron to win a championship, and they both said, "We'll make a business deal. We both need each other. I promise to do this if you promise to do that." They did it. We're good, and he went to L.A.
And they divorced.
But when you talk about Dan being a tyrant, and again, I don't want to make light of this. The man almost died. There's nothing funny about it. But it changed everything about his life. And he was removed from the Cavs for like 4 or 5 years. And that's when they put this whole thing together, is when ownership was not interfering. And Kobe had more time than anybody before him. And he had all of Dan's money with none of the influence and none of the interference. And that's why they were able to put this thing together. Like, Kobe probably would have been fired 3 times had Dan been Dan throughout all of those years. So when you say what changed with Dan, his health. And the fact that he was removed, he was in Florida, like living in Florida, trying to regain his health and regain some sort of quality of life.
No
reason.
No. I was talking about what made him sign the peace treaty to get LeBron back.
Because he couldn't win without him.
And so my thing is, at some point, our hope and wish is Jimmy Haslam says, "Look, man, I can't win it doing that way. It might be one guy, somebody, I don't know who it is. Maybe he respects Vrabel. Maybe Vrabel has enough cachet to say, look, man, you learn your lesson. You keep doing it this way. You're only going to win this way."
Here's one for you. I had someone from Belichick's circle text me and say, bring Bill back. Like, bring us all and let him.
I've heard people recommend it already.
Can't be the GM, though.
No, Bill wants full control.
What would your reaction to that be?
I don't know yet.
I would stand up and cheer it.
I don't know yet.
Bull?
Because I agree. Bill, as a GM.
He's not. He as a GM, he's been terrible for
No,
years.
I would not give him control. I don't think
He's
he's
not going to do it without
These
that.
guys.
He wanted control in Atlanta.
Yeah.
He's going to want it wherever he goes.
Well,
you think Bill's
he's not-
going to?
but he's not coaching.
You talk about, like, it depends on how, because I think Jacksonville would give him full control.
I think you're right.
Would.
I
They'd
think
also
they
give
would.
Vrabel full control.
I think they'd give I think Jacksonville would give him full control.